So I had a situation happen last week that was interesting. One of my videos popped up on YouTube, just a video that I of things that I listen to when the kids are gone, and it said trust in the Lord. And one of the kids yells, trust in the Lord, and then a kid behind him yells, no, don't trust in the Lord. And that kid who yelled trust in the Lord turned around and just yelled, shut up at that one kid. And I was like, I can either give this kid a reminder like I normally would do and move on. But this is a little bit of a different situation. So I went up to them and I said, nope, you do not have to trust in the Lord. You do not have to trust in the Lord. And then I looked at the kid that I knew was a big, believer in Jesus and Christian. And I looked at him and I said, but if you want people to do that, if you're trying to move people, like Jesus says to move them into that direction, the last thing you do is yell at them. The last thing you do is criticize them. The Bible says, and I went into the spiel of the Bible says, if you don't have love, you got nothing. So remember that if you're going to be yelling at people, that's actually moving them away from Jesus than it is moving them towards Jesus. If you're telling them, you need to do this, you need to do that, it's like, people want nothing to do with that Jesus that is in you that you talk about. I was like that once, and I didn't bring anybody to Jesus. Probably if I did anything, brought them away from him. And so I didn't say my past or whatever, but I was like, if that, and then the kid turns and he said, I'm sorry. And it was just kind of one of those things where it's just like, I know the world is turning. I get that. The Bible said it's going to, so we shouldn't be surprised by how it is turning. But if we train up our children in the way they should go, as in my own personal children or kids that I know follow and love Jesus, it's important that we show people love, because it's God's love that gets them to change. I can tell sometimes when pastors preach and they're mad at people for not believing in God, not spending time with God, and you should feel bad. And, if you're going to heaven, and it's just I just know that people don't change if they know that God's not, if they always think that God's angry at them, and they always think that they're just they're always going to fall short, and they're never going to amount to anything. And why would God love them? It's come on. I know God has judgment. I get that. But man, he also has this love that people don't understand. And we got to preach that more than anything else. There is wrong in the world. And yes, but we got to love them first. They're not going to listen to a word we say if we don't love them. So let's go. I don't know. I just needed to say that today. Go love people. You might not agree with what they're doing, but love them. Jesus never agreed with what people were doing. He still went after them and said, I want you and I love you. And they were then they see what they're doing is wrong. And they didn't see it before, but then they end up seeing it because they see the love, that they feel the love, and they're I want to just stay with you. Why would you want to stay with something that's just yelling at you all the time and criticizing you? And it's God's love that leads men to change. That's what the Bible says. So, all right, here we go. Have a great day.